Hi everyone, Esther L. Jones here, artist and ceramicist, and I've had some requests to share about kilns. What little I know, I'm going to share. So today I am firing a glaze firing, and I'll talk about that more in a minute, but I want to show you because I've got it started and I need to show you right away. Here is the top layer of my glaze firing today, and you can probably hear it humming. The elements are already heating up. So I'm going to close it, and I'm going to lock it, and now we can talk a little bit. So kilns get up very high. They need to go and there are different kinds of kilns, but electric kilns like this need to go upwards of 2,500 degrees. So that's a lot. And so they have to have all this fire brick and insulation, and there has to be all kinds of safety precautions. So that's why they're expensive. Okay, I got mine used and they're great. I'm really glad to have them. So I am going to take a moment and switch my camera so that it will fit better on screen, and then we'll talk some more. Okay, let's see how I can do this. I can do this like that. Like that. Okay. All right, so to tell you about this, this is an electric kiln. It has to be wired specially. So show you, it just so happened that I fire in my dad's garage because I live with my parents, and fortunately he already had his garage wired for the correct amount of electricity. He was doing welding, but it works for kilns too, so that's good. Kilns come in different sizes, so I have two. I have a little one back there and a big one over here, which I probably could have used my little kiln for this load, but I wasn't sure, and I typically do glaze firings in here. So, more to know. Let me give you a good view of this. So these holes in the side are called peepholes. They can also function to let toxic gases and stuff like that out. Your clay is going to outgas, and your glazes are going to outgas. So okay, here we are back in this studio, which is a little bit more comfortable for me and makes it easier for me to talk to you. So as I said, I have two kilns, a smaller one and a larger one, and they get up to high temperatures. Someone was particularly asking about the cones, which look like this. Different cones look different. These are the ones that I use. The bottom is formulated so that they stand alone. And isn't it fun that they're different colors? But also on the side here, you can see that there's a stamp, and that stamp has a number on it. The number tells us what temperature this cone is going to indicate. So you put these in your kiln, and as the kiln heats up, you want to make sure it gets to the correct temperature for your glaze and your clay. So my clay and glazes usually go to 6, which is this cone, and then I have what's called witness cones. Well, I guess they're all called witness cones, but like I have a 5, a 6, and a 7, so that if it underfires or overfires, I will know. But also, when this one goes down, I know to watch for this one, because it's not going to be very long till it goes down. And what they do is they curl over kind of like that. When they curl over like that, then you've reached that temperature. If this one starts to curl, we're in trouble. It's too high. So I want this one to drop completely, and it'll drop all the way down onto, you know, or almost onto the shelf. And then this one will drop like about that. And it will be, and that will be perfect for a cone 6 is what we call it. And then this one, we hope it doesn't go at all. It might go off a little bit, but not too much. So and that is because I have what's called a manual kiln. It's not manual at all. There's nothing manual about it. But what that means is that I have to watch the cones. There's no temperature monitor on there that's going to tell me it reached a certain cone. Now, it does have a way to turn itself off when it reaches cone 6, but that's not always reliable. Adjustments you can make to the different parts of the kiln. So if your adjustments are off, your cone will be off unless you're watching these little cones inside. So that's what you use those peepholes for. Other things, there are 2 kinds of firing for most clays and glazes, and that is a bisque fire and a glaze fire. And usually you bisque fire to make it easier to apply the glaze. It's not entirely necessary to do a bisque fire, so sometimes I don't do that. In this case, most of my pieces were already bisqued for different reasons. There's lots of different reasons you might do that. So what will I be doing today as my kiln fires? Well, I'll be going about my day, but every couple of hours I'm going to be going down there and I'm going to be adjusting the temperature. I'm going to be bringing it up a little bit at a time. I don't want to take it up too fast, because that outgassing I mentioned before is an issue. So I want it to have plenty of time for all the gases to escape from my clay, from my glazes, and all that stuff. So here in a couple of hours, I'll go out there and I'll turn it up a little bit. And different kilns do it different, and all kilns are different. So you get to know your own kiln by doing that kind of stuff and then just checking things. And then as it gets closer to time, I'll be checking it more and more often, and especially once that 5 cone, is that the 5? Or is this the 5? This is the 5. Once this one drops, I'm basically going to be sitting by the kiln. All right. And then when this one drops, when it starts to drop, I'm going to watch like a hawk. And if my kiln doesn't turn itself off at the right point, I will turn it off. Or if my kiln decides to turn itself off too early, I'll turn it back on really quick. and make sure that it stays up there long enough for that cone to drop. I have cones on almost every shelf. I don't have them on the bottom shelf because it's too narrow. The things that are on that shelf are flat, so I didn't take up much room there, so the cones are too tall. So, and then in the morning, or probably later tomorrow afternoon, we'll have Kiln Christmas, which means I get to open it up and see, am I happy with the results, or were there some duds? Did things melt on the shelves? There's so many variables in doing clay that you never know what you're going to get when you open it. And this time I really don't know what I'm going to get because I reglazed several items from the last glaze kiln that I didn't really like how they turned out. So it could be a total disaster in there, or it could be beautiful, or it could be mixed results. We're just going to get to see. So that'll probably be 10 or 12 hours from now, and I'll check back in then and we'll open the kiln together. Thanks. See you later. Bye. Okay, hi everyone, Esther L. Jones here, and yesterday we talked about putting the kiln on, and today is opening of the kiln, which is always kind of exciting and kind of scary. And so we're going to open it and see what happened while I was firing it. It fired for about 12 hours yesterday, almost exactly 12 hours. And we'll see what happened. All right, are you excited? Me too. Woohoo! Okay, so one thing I do want to tell you about this load is many things in it are things that I actually refired. I got them out, they looked ugly, so I recoated them with a different kind of glaze and I refired them. So I'm going to be excited if some of those turned out well. All right, first of all, let me show you the the cones. All right, so I put the cones in that I showed you like this. This one's 5, 6, 7, and this shows an exact 6, cone 6 firing. The 7 didn't go at all, the 6 is at 90 degrees, and the 5 is completely melted over, so that was perfect for this top shelf. All right, my mom's yarn bowl. Oh, look at that. Let me walk it over here. I was kind of going for a pinky, sort of reddish. She's gonna love that. I'm gonna have to put things over here. This didn't really change that much. But I think it's a little bit prettier than it was before this mug was reglazed and refired. Okay, let's look at this. I had to refire these angel bud vases, and they do actually look better. That tells you just how ugly they were before. However, this one's a casualty. You can see that the halo broke. Sadly, but I really like that color combination. All right, let's get this side. also a refire, and I'm much happier with it now. So very beautiful. Used Amico Celadon Mulberry over the previous glaze, and it's turned out very well. This is a reglazed cross, and actually looks better than it did before. It's all a learning process. All right. Oh my goodness. This was so ugly, and it is now so gorgeous. All right, here's the other angel bud vase, and it has turned out very well, and we don't have any cracks or anything in it, so I'll be able to sell it. Okay, as we continue, I just want to let you know, this is my father's garage, and it's open to the outdoors. It's windy today, so you may be hearing some wind. My dogs are in the yard right here, and they have to save me from the world, so they bark at everything. So I apologize for the sound quality, but I wanted you to be in on this kiln opening. All right, next I'm super excited about this one. I made myself a dog bowl for my dog's water. I made it last time, but it turned out that like I have to fill it 4 or 5 times a day. I just didn't make it big enough. So hopefully this one is big enough. And this is Mako Cenote. It's just gorgeous. I'm super excited about how beautiful that is. Okay, so I want to show you these things. These are what are called cookies, and cookies are there to prevent any glaze drips from sticking to your shelves. So you have kiln wash that you put on the shelves to keep the shelves from sticking to glaze, but then you further protect them by these cookies, and they're just waste clay that have been had kiln wash put on them as well. All right, so I'm going to lift out a shelf. The shelf is still warm. This is way more than 12 hours after the firing stopped, so the shelf is still warm. All right. This is the same glaze that is on the yarn bowl. And these are boxes that my granddaughter and I made together. And no, the lids don't fit, and we don't care. We were just happy to make them together. That is a gorgeous glaze combination. It is Amazon fire brick with Amico fire brick with Amico Smoky Merlot over it, and it's just a very interesting pinky blue red. All right, here are some Christmas ornaments that came out really ugly in the last firing, and so I just refired them with some fire brick over them, and they look really nice. Okay, let me show you the cones for this one. We didn't get quite as hot on the second shelf. It was maybe a cool 6 with maybe a definite 5 with a cool 6. And that's okay. You can't always get exactly accurate all the way through the kiln. moving more cookies and moving a shelf. Ooh, out. That was kiln furniture falling. Kiln furniture just means like the shelves and the things that allow you to stack. So like this is just a column that allows you to stack a shelf on top of it, and then they call it kiln furniture. Oh my goodness. Another cross, and you can't see it, but it says paid, because Christ paid for it all. And that Amico rainforest is the most gorgeous color. It's a blue-green. Okay. No, really? Oh. I made my first spoon, and I knew it was weak because this is so thin. And sure enough, part of it slumped. The glaze stuck to the shelf, and when I picked it up, it broke. And the other end broke, and now there's a tiny piece stuck to my shelf, which that shelf just happened to not have a good coat of kiln wash on it, so that may take some grinding to get off. But it's not ruined by any stretch of the imagination. Alright, some more ornaments, and just kind of turned out so much better. I made a couple of signs for myself so I can put it up by my stuff. This one says, available for purchase. And I'm happy that I went with this Chino. It really picked out the texture on it. Oh, so much prettier. Okay, so this one came out not so great in the last firing too, and I redid it. Look at that. You can't see, I'm sure, but there's a gorgeous, luscious purple in here. All right. Now is when we're going to have to get up on the stool, and I'm going to have to move some of this other stuff so that I can do that. All I'm saying is, short girls got problems with big kilns. Okay, I missed an ornament. More kiln furniture. More kiln cookies. I have cookies of all different sizes, small to large. Okay, you can see that's where the spoon stuck. So there'll be a little work. More kiln furniture. Okay, the bottom layer is all flat stuff. So okay, I'm super happy with these. These are plant stakes, and they have a honeycomb and bee theme. So I put a kind of a honeycomb color glaze on them, and they turned out gorgeous. Okay, more digging for the short lady. I made 2 of these signs. More plant stakes. Beautiful. Okay, we have one more shelf to take out or move over, as the case may be. Uh-oh. I didn't break anything. Nope, nothing is broken. Okay, yes. More plant stakes. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. That's a Mako Shino. This is a reglazed one, and I cannot tell you how ugly it was before, and now it is much nicer. Okay, and another box that I made along with my granddaughter. And it is much nicer now than it was before. It's a, I don't know if you can see, it's a really deep blue, just really pretty. And no, the lids aren't good. That's okay. We learn as we go. Thank you for coming to my kiln opening. Oh, I know, there's one other thing I want to show you. So, inside here is a thermocouple that I will insert a picture into the video so you can see. And it has a small, a smaller cone in it, which actually turns it off when it reaches the right temperature. The rod sits right here, and when the cone bends, the rod sits right here, and when the cone bends, it falls down and turns the kiln off. And it worked just right last night, so that was wonderful. All right, I hope you enjoyed learning more about the kiln and seeing the results of my latest glaze firing. Thanks, bye.